Star Trek II. The Wrath of Khan wasn't just the film that saved the franchise. It was a salvage operation built on leaked scripts, death threats, and a lead actor who only agreed to return so his character could die in the first 10 minutes.
A great death scene, so he would never have to be Spock again.
The studio's TV department pulled off a miracle with stolen footage and repainted sets. The greatest villain in sci-fi history never actually met the hero. And that famous chest? Everyone thought it was fake. It wasn't. This is Patrick from Past America. Today, we're exposing 15 hidden truths behind the Wrath of Khan, including why Gene Roddenberry may have sabotaged his own franchise and how one actor's death wish completely backfired. Let's get into it. 1. Nimoy's death wish backfired. Leonard Nimoy wanted out, permanently. After the bloated disaster of the motion picture, he was done with the franchise and the character that had defined his career. When producer Harve Bennett approached him about a sequel, Nimoy agreed on one condition: Spock had to die. Not at the end, not heroically. He wanted Spock killed in the first 10 minutes, like Janet Leigh in Psycho, so there'd be no chance of getting dragged back for future films. The writers said yes. Then they completely betrayed him. They moved the death to the final act and made it so emotionally powerful that by the time they actually filmed the scene, Nimoy had fallen back in love with the character. He started asking if there might be a way to bring Spock back. The death scene designed to free him forever made him want to stay. 2. The opening was a prank. On angry fans, news of Spock's death leaked months before release. Trekkies lost their minds. Paramount received actual death threats. Fans took out full-page ads in Variety begging the studio not to kill the character. The filmmakers needed damage control. Their solution was brilliantly devious. They opened the movie with Spock dying during the Kobayashi Maru training simulation, a fake-out, a meta-joke designed to make audiences think the death rumors were just about the opening scene so they'd relax and drop their guard. Then when Spock actually died for real at the end, maximum emotional impact. The trick worked. Audiences who'd spent months dreading the death walked into the theater thinking they'd been worried over nothing. They weren't. 3. Montalban's chest was actually real. When 61-year-old Ricardo Montalban appeared shirtless as Khan, everyone assumed they were looking at a prosthetic rubber chest piece. The speculation got so out of control that Paramount's costume department was flooded with questions from journalists demanding to know who built the fake torso. The costume designer finally had to issue a statement. It was 100% Montalban. No prosthetics, no padding, no special effects. The actor was a fitness fanatic who'd been doing thousands of push-ups for decades. He maintained a workout regimen that would shame men half his age. That chest that became iconic in sci-fi villainy? Completely, impossibly real. Montalban was reportedly amused by the controversy. He took it as the ultimate compliment. 4. Kirk and Khan never actually met. Here's the one that breaks people's brains. The greatest rivalry in science fiction history was built on a technical impossibility. William Shatner and Ricardo Montalban were never in the same room during the entire production. Never. They filmed their scenes months apart on different schedules. They only interacted through view screen footage shot separately and edited together in post. They never spoke, never rehearsed together, never shared a single moment on set. All that crackling tension and personal hatred between Kirk and Khan? Manufactured entirely through editing and performance directed at empty space. It's a testament to both actors that you'd never know they were essentially performing solo the entire time. 5. The ear eel nearly got an R rating. The SETI eel's scene, where Khan's parasite crawls into Chekhov's ear, became the MPAA's nightmare. This was 1982. PG-13 didn't exist yet. Films were either PG or R. The sequence as originally filmed was significantly more graphic, the eel's insertion accompanied by blood, visceral sound effects, and a violent burst when it entered the ear canal. The MPAA threatened an R rating. That would have banned the film's core audience of kids and families. Director Nicholas Meyer had to go back and trim the sequence multiple times, removing the wettest sound effects and cutting frames of gore. Even the final version pushed the PG rating to its absolute limit. That scene contributed to the industry conversation that eventually created the PG-13 category 2 years later. Thank Wrath of Khan for that rating. 6. Roddenberry may have leaked the script. The script leak that revealed Spock's death didn't happen by accident. While never officially confirmed, multiple people involved with the production believed Gene Roddenberry himself was the source. Roddenberry had been pushed out of creative control after the motion picture's troubled production. He was furious about the direction Nicholas Meyer was taking. He attended fan conventions where leaked script details mysteriously appeared. He made public comments criticizing the decision to kill Spock before the film was even finished. Whether he actually leaked the pages or just failed to stop the leak, the damage was done. Paramount's marketing team had to completely restructure their campaign to address fan anger that should never have existed. The creator may have sabotaged his own franchise. 7. The TV department saved Star Trek. After the motion picture cost $44 million and bored audiences into a coma, the movie studio's executives refused to make another Star Trek film. The franchise was dead. But the television division saw an opportunity. They approached the executives with a radical proposal. Give them a fraction of the budget and let them make a sequel as if it were a TV movie with slightly better production values. The studio agreed to just $11 million. Essentially, prove Star Trek could work as lean, character-driven storytelling instead of expensive visual spectacle. The TV team's approach didn't just save the franchise. It accidentally created the template that every subsequent Trek film would follow for the next 15 years. Sometimes the B team makes the better movie. 8. They stole footage from the first movie. With a budget barely a quarter of the motion picture, director Nicholas Meyer had to get creative about stretching money. His solution was shameless: steal footage directly from the first film and hope audiences wouldn't notice. The iconic shot of the Enterprise leaving space dock? Lifted straight from the 1979 movie. The Regula Y space station? That's the orbital office complex from the motion picture, literally turned upside down in the frame and repainted. Even some of the wider space shots were recycled with new effects composited over them. Meyer later admitted he had no shame about the theft. He was making a better movie for a tenth of the price. Why spend money when you can steal smarter? 9. The Reliant Bridge was the Enterprise. The production couldn't afford to build a second Starship bridge for Khan's captured vessel, the USS Reliant. The solution was elegantly simple. Reuse the Enterprise bridge set. Rearrange the chairs. Change the lighting to darker and more red-tinted. Add a few different control panels. That's it. If you watch carefully, you can see the exact same wall panels and ceiling structure. The gamble was that audiences would be so focused on Khan's performance that they wouldn't notice they were looking at the same room from a different angle. It worked so well that reviewers actually praised the new bridge for showing how different Starfleet ships had their own design personalities. Nobody noticed. Everyone complimented it. 10. Chekhov never actually met. Khan's declaration that he never forgets a face when he recognizes Chekhov creates one of Star Trek's most famous continuity errors. The problem is simple. Walter Koenig wasn't in the cast during Season 1 when the original Space Seed episode aired. Chekhov didn't exist yet. He literally never met Khan. Fans have spent 4 decades trying to explain this away with increasingly elaborate theories. Koenig himself offered the best explanation as a joke. Chekhov had taken too long in the bathroom on the Enterprise's lower decks once, and Khan was waiting outside and got mad. The truth is simpler and more embarrassing. The writers either forgot or didn't care that Chekhov wasn't in the original episode. Sometimes the answer is just, oops. 11. Kirstie Alley slept in her Vulcan ears. This was Kirstie Alley's first film role. She was so broke and desperate to make it work that she basically lied her way through the entire production. She pretended to have way more acting experience than she actually had. She was terrified someone would figure out she had no idea what she was doing. The Vulcan ear prosthetics took so long to apply each morning that she started sleeping in them to save time. Her hair wasn't long enough for the Vulcan look, so she wore a wig that she later described as looking like a dead cat glued to my head. Despite all the anxiety and discomfort, she delivered a memorable performance as Saavik that fans still celebrate decades later. Sometimes panic produces great work. 12. Roddenberry hated the military field director. Nicholas Meyer had never watched Star Trek before signing on to direct the sequel. His frame of reference was Horatio Hornblower Naval Adventures, so he approached the film as Hornblower in Space, with a distinctly military tone. Gene Roddenberry absolutely despised what Meyer was doing. He hated the naval whistles on the ship. He hated the submarine warfare feel of the space battles. He hated the more authoritarian military uniforms. He especially hated that Saavik shed a tear during Spock's funeral, writing angry memos insisting that Vulcans don't cry. Meyer ignored almost all of Roddenberry's complaints. The military feel that the creator hated became one of the film's most praised elements and a permanent part of Star Trek's aesthetic. The creator was wrong about his own creation. 13. The ending was reshot after test screenings. The original ending was brutally simple. Spock died, the crew looked devastated, credits rolled. Test audiences left the theater so depressed that Paramount panicked. They'd accidentally made a beloved character's death so final and hopeless that people felt emotionally destroyed instead of moved. The studio ordered emergency reshoots to add hope back into the ending. That's where the shot of Spock's coffin landing on the Genesis planet came from. That's where the Remember mind meld scene where Spock transfers his essence to McCoy came from. None of this was in the original script. It was all added afterward to set up a potential resurrection and give audiences something besides grief to carry out of the theater. The studio saved the film from its own effectiveness. 14. Shatner made Khan a meme. The famous "can" scream wasn't scripted as a full-volume, rage-filled yell. The script just indicated that Kirk was angry. William Shatner decided to go absolutely over the top on the take. He screamed so hard his voice cracked. He literally shook the camera with the force of his performance. They filmed multiple versions at different volumes and emotional registers. Director Nicholas Meyer could have used a more restrained take. Instead, he chose the most Shatner version possible, the one where the actor's commitment to scenery chewing reached its absolute peak. That choice created the single most memeable moment in Star Trek history and defined how future generations would parody Shatner's acting style. Sometimes more is more. 15. The Genesis effect. Accidentally created Pixar. The Genesis effect sequence, where the torpedo transforms a dead planet into a lush world in seconds, was created using something brand new: computer-generated imagery. This was 1982. Nothing like this had ever been done before. The team at Industrial Light and Magic created the first entirely CGI sequence in a major motion picture. 60 seconds that took months to render on computers with less power than a modern smartphone. It looks primitive by today's standards, but it was revolutionary at the time. That single sequence directly led to ILM becoming the most important visual effects house in Hollywood history. The technology developed there eventually evolved into everything from Jurassic Park to the modern Marvel films. 60 seconds changed the entire industry. Star Trek II. The Wrath of Khan proves something important. Billion-dollar budgets and endless special effects can't save a franchise. But great characters, real emotion, and smart writing can resurrect one from the dead. The TV department's $11 million gamble with stolen footage and repainted sets became the film that saved Star Trek. It created the template for every space adventure that followed. And Leonard Nimoy, who only agreed to return so he could kill Spock forever, ended up loving the character so much he directed the next two movies. Which behind-the-scenes secret shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed diving into the chaos behind one of sci-fi's greatest films, hit subscribe for more stories about the movies that changed everything. See you in the next one.